All right, it is now 10 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started with today's webinar, the ELN Updates for the 2017-2018 school year. My name is Arlen Peebles, and I'm the Online Professional Development Director for the Illinois Principals Association. I've been working on EdLeaders Network here since we started in 2011, and we're very excited to announce some of these new features and be showcasing them with you this morning. Just to quickly learn a little bit more about who's in the audience with us, I've got a quick poll designed, and go ahead and fill out which best describes your position. And thanks for those of you who logged in early, and let us know who you were in the chat as well. You can still continue to do that as we trickle in. All right, let's take a look at our results. Not many teachers here joining us this morning. That's quite all right. I'll be going into some of the deeper parts of the manager role, which will be specific to administrators. It looks like we've got a good crop of superintendents, principals, district office, and other. And thanks to our AIR employees who are joining us this morning as well. So if you can see my screen right now, I'm at the new edleadersnetwork.org homepage. We took a total redesign to this page, and of course wanted to modernize it, have it look more modern and mobile friendly for you as more devices are approaching and hitting the EdLeaders Network website. If you notice, I'll scale it down here to the size of a phone, and you can see what it does here. This is what we mean when we say mobile friendly. It's responsive. All of the text here fits within it. It puts all of the menu items in what they call a hamburger menu here in the top right. And you can click that and see all the items there. And then it just becomes sort of a long scroll, so it looks nice on the phone. Go ahead and open that back up for you. So ELN is now completely mobile friendly, from the interface here to the login, all the way to the learning management system. As you scroll down through the page, we've got some testimonials over the years that we've gotten from different educators. You're welcome to scroll through those and see what other people are saying about ELN. Our featured courses will be just below that. Typically on the old site we would just feature the latest course. Now we're actually able to feature 5 different courses under these main headings of leadership and management, teaching and learning, curriculum and instruction, legal and legislative, and of course our favorite beginning of the school year items, the mandated trainings. So as we bring something new to ELN, this is where we will put them so that you can take a look at those at any time. ELN also has a community attached to it where you can participate in discussions, blogs, and resource sharing, and we'll do a deeper dive into that a little later. And then in the footer, you can stay connected with us on Twitter, YouTube, an email, and of course welcome to join our mailing list so that every week you can find out what is the latest content and community items happening on EdLeaders Network. If I scroll back to the top, I'm going to look under the About page here. This is where you can just learn a little bit more about ELN, where did it come from, why is it here? And also we've got a short 2-minute video that'll go over, try to go over everything that I'm going to cover here with you this morning, but in a very condensed way. Then, of course, our affiliate associations. I work for the IPA, the Illinois Principals Association, but we did not create EdLeaders Network in isolation. We worked with all of these other state principals associations as partners to develop ELN, to develop content, and to share the expertise. We've also got our content partners down here at the bottom. We work with the Illinois State Board of Education here to provide free ELN access to all Illinois public school educators. So if you are on this webinar and you do not yet have access and you're from Illinois, you want to be following up with me shortly hereafter to make sure we get you, your school, your full district in to the EdLeaders Network. Also, our regional superintendents of schools are partners of ours. Standard for Success, they are actually an evaluation tool, an online evaluation tool that you can use and go directly from a teacher evaluation to assigning professional development. And then our Illinois Center for School Improvement folks, we've got some of them joining us on the webinar for today. I understand they have a new name, and we'll be updating this here soon to reflect that. What you're probably most here to see, though, today is the learning management system, the courses themselves, what we've done in there, and what new features are now available for the school year. To get to that area of the site, you'll want to click the login button, and if you're on a computer and want to follow along on a second screen, that's fine. If you don't yet have your login information, I want you to follow up with me after the webinar. I'm going to go ahead and click login. And I will get moved over to the sign-in here, hopefully quickly. There we are. It's got my sign-in information. Of course, it remembers it here because I've visited this before. I would always remember or always advise having Google Chrome or your browser remember your sign-in info. That way you don't have to keep track of the hundreds of passwords I'm sure you've accumulated. So I'm a manager, so by default it is showing me the dashboard manager view. I'm going to start with the learner role, which is what most of you will see the first time you are logging in to ELN. The first place you go is called My Learning, and that's just exactly what it sounds. It's keeping track of everything that you are doing within Ed Leaders Network. Right at the top, if you have been assigned some courses but not completed them, they're going to fall in the overdue category. And you can see I've got a couple. This one's way overdue, 175 days overdue. Here's another one, 162 days overdue. Hopefully you won't be seeing this for you or your staff. This is just some testing, and I've got this in here just as an example. Below overdue is next up. These are trainings that have been assigned to me that are not yet overdue. I've still got time to do them. Either there's no due date or the due date is in the future. And I want you to notice a slight difference here in the icons. This is a course that has been assigned to me, and you can tell it's just got a single circle around it. The Illinois recommended training, biannual mandated training, you can see they've got sort of this chopped up circle and two books by it. That means it's a program. That means there's more than one course in here that's a part of the learning experience. And I'll show you the difference between a course and a program as we move forward. Here are the optional courses that I might have self-enrolled in. That means my manager didn't tell me to do this. This is something that I decided I would like to do, and I've registered for it. You can see this one shows I'm about halfway done with this course. This one shows I've just barely started, just scratched the surface, and here's another one about a quarter of the way done. And the nice thing is I can jump right back to where I left off by clicking on the course title. And down at the very bottom are the completed courses. This is everything that I have done through to completion. I've gotten a score of 100% or 80% or better is what we require. And the nice thing is if there is a certificate, I can always come back and get the certificate at any time. And here's a nice print button here in the top right. So I know this has been an issue in the past of people maybe not getting their certificates the first time they complete the course. So now anytime I can come back, scroll to the bottom, and get those completed certificates. I can also search this My Learning area. Again, for those of you logging in for the first time, you probably will only have one course under Next Up, and that'll be Welcome to ELN. And that's actually a program that's got a couple of courses in it. So you won't see all of this, this many courses in the first time you log in. But let's say I wanted to search. Do I have anything in here for teaching? Yes, I do. These are the courses that I have registered for that have the word teaching in the title or in the description. I can also filter these courses by what's the type being course or versus type being a program. I can filter by live training. Don't have any live trainings assigned. And then there's surveys and tasks, which we really don't use on ELN. So that is the My Learning area of Ed Leaders Network on the new learning management system. And I encourage you, if you do have any questions as we go along, I'll stop and pause in between sections to see if there are any questions. I've got one here from Rhonda asking, is the login the same as before? Unfortunately, no. When we updated the database, we had to change everyone's password. And what we did a week ago is send out an email to all users of ELN that has their new password in it. If you did not get that password, I'm going to have you contact me directly, and we'll get that set up for you. I'm going to put my email address into the chat here. So if you didn't receive your login last week, if you try to log into Ed Leaders Network and you cannot get in, let me know, and we'll get that password to you. I imagine those will primarily be a lot of the support questions. And Mike last that he says he doesn't have a My Learning. Is this because I'm also a creator of the courses? Yeah, Mike, when you log in as your manager role, by default you're going to switch to the manager screen, but down in the lower left-hand corner you can switch back and forth from the learner. Managers will log in, it'll look like this, and down in the lower left you can switch to the learner role, and that will take you to My Learning. All right, good. That worked for Mike. Glad to hear it. Any other questions about the My Learning area? Again, this is not where all of the courses live. This is just your connections to the courses on ELN. The next area we're going to look at is the Learning Library. If you look over on the left-hand side of your screen, you will see underneath My Learning is the Learning Library, and this is where the courses live. This is where you come to get registered for them and to search the catalog. Stephen's question doesn't have a managerial role yet. How do I get set up on that? We are currently working at the district level. We hope by the end of this week we will notify all district staff of their manager role, and then the following week we're going to start working on at the school level. We are setting up separate manager accounts for the school and district level, and they'll be assigned to the administrators at each level. And district accounts, you'll be able to look in and run reports on every school within the district, and at the school level accounts, you'll just be looking at specifically at your school. So if you don't have a manager account set up yet, do not worry, we're still working on getting those ready, but I'll be showing you today all of the features you'll have access to. So this is the Learning Library. Basic search, it's going to search title, descriptions, keywords. Like here, if I search leader, this brain science for principals comes up. If I search teaching, I've got a few courses here on teaching strategies, practices, leading teaching and learning, student engagement. If I want to sort these, by default, they're going to get sorted by the date added, so the newest will be first. If I wanted to sort them alphabetically and just peruse the titles, I could do that. And of course, reverse alphabetically is going to start with our the courses with the reverse alphabetically, and then duration can be searched. This is from shortest to longest duration. Now you will notice in the top right of each of these is an estimated time that we put with each course. Now our goal in the beginning of ELN was to try and create very short snippets of information, trying to keep them around 15 minutes. In this new learning management system, the fact that you can stop and start at any time has pushed us to put more content together and group some. So in the previous version of Ed Leaders Network, where a course would be 15 minutes long and there would be part 1, part 2, part 3, we have grouped all those together, so it makes it easier for you to search. So let's look at a course here. I'm going to hop into Leading Teaching and Learning Student Engagement. It says resume. As you can see, I've already started this course. I'm about a third of the way done. I'm going to choose this one here because I don't think I've gotten this far with this one. I'll go back to the very beginning here. And so this is the title page where you'll see the full title for the course, the presenter for the course, and then a short description. If you like what you see, you can enter the course right here with this button, and it's going to take you to the course materials page. This is quite a big departure from the previous version of EdLeaders Network, where it was really just videos. You would open up the video, hit play. Most of them would have attachments, some type of handout to go along with them. In the new version, all EdLeaders Network courses have a course guide that you will need to follow along with and complete as you go. Let me open up the course guide and show you what that looks like. So you're going to notice it opening up in the browser. That's because we decided to go with Google Docs rather than a Word document. In the beginning, we started with a Word document, and then as I was out talking about this with other educators and in schools talking about this, I found that so many people were using Google Docs that we were actually better off to create it as a Google Doc that you can add to your personal drive. Or if you don't have Google Docs, you can always go to File, Download as, Microsoft Word, and those instructions are here for you. If you're a Google user, you can make a copy in your drive. If you're not a Google user, you can just download it as a Word document, because this course guide is highly interactive. Just a quick poll here. I'm curious, at the school and district level, how many of you are using the Google Apps for Education rather than Microsoft Office? Give you just a few more seconds on the poll. Okay, this is about what I was finding. This is even a little higher. We were finding about 75% of schools and districts are using Google, and this is 83%, so that's terrific. So it'll be great for those Google users who can just come in and take this. It won't be editable right here. You're going to have to make a copy before you can edit this course guide. The cover page for this just tells you what's the title, who's the presenter. Here's our state affiliate partners again. Here's our content partners. It'll tell you how many clock hours this is worth. This course is worth 2 clock hours. And of course, the outcomes. Every course on EdLeaders Network now is aligned to outcomes. What are participants going to know or be able to do? There is a pre-activity with this teaching and learning. It's going to ask you to describe your vision of the type of classroom instruction that all teachers should deliver and all students should receive. And there's going to be space here for you to type your response. Let's get to that screen here. So here's the pre-activity. And it's got a few more questions that it's going to have me do before I even get started. This is to activate that prior knowledge, just like we would want our students to do. There is also an implementation plan activity. So you're noticing we've really increased the rigor for these courses now. At the end of this, you're going to review your current tools, checklists, guides, or criteria that assist you in determining instructional best practice in the classroom. You'll be analyzing and editing these critical tools as needed to enhance identification of instructional best practice during instruction. And then at the end of the course guide, you're going to find an implementation plan template. So let me scroll there and show you what that looks like. Here you go. And this implementation template is going to be based on the learning outcomes for the course. So you're going to list the strategies to achieve your outcomes, timelines, resources, indicators of impact, and then the date that or status when it's completed. So these courses are now very interactive. If I continue on to the next screen, I'm going to be here and setting the stage. This just really sets the stage for investigating ways the teacher evaluative process can serve as a guide to the types of instructional shifts required to achieve excellence in one's teaching craft. Now we're to the content. There'll be a quick description about the content itself. This is a 1:32 piece of video. We have broken the videos down into very short snippets. Where it used to be 15 minutes to 20 minutes of one video, now you're going to get 1.5 to 2 minute video snippets. And while you're watching, there's a reflective activity. So as I watch this video, I need to think about what ways has my school or district utilized the teacher evaluation process as a framework for improvement and personal professional growth. And then I've got a couple more reflections as well. And all of those reflections, they're not just for you to think about, but for you to actually complete in the course guide. And then here's my video. Pretty straightforward. Hit play. It'll play right there on the screen for you.
The field of education has seen a great deal of change in the last few years. Districts have been charged with implementing.
The other piece of good news is we now have closed captioning. And I can turn those on. We're working on, some of our videos have closed captioning, some of them we're still working on getting that updated. But eventually here, within a few weeks, we'll have closed captioning for all. And then down at the very bottom is the outcome that this video is tied to. This is related to the understand and utilize the evaluation process as a framework for improvement and personal professional growth. All right, let me check the chat. I know there's been some questions come in. Okay. A question about certificates earned last year carry over to this year. So for the mandated training, yes, there's some mandated training you'll have to complete annually, and some of the mandated training is biannual. So if it was completed last year, it's still good for 2 years. Good question about that. From Rhonda, if I'm a manager and had all my teachers set up with accounts, do they get new passwords too? Yes. All the teachers will have new passwords, and they will should have been emailed to them already. If you find out that they haven't received them, get in touch with me and we can resend them. Okay. Sandy asked about the shorter mandated training still available for teachers to access. So yes, the mandated trainings are accessible here in the Learning Library. And I can actually search, I believe, state mandated. And all of those will come up. They have been reformatted as well. They have course guides. They're still shorter in length than some of the other. You can see this one's 30 minutes, 28 minutes. This one's an hour. But yes, they've been updated as well. Good question there. And Lori, yes, districts still do have free access. Again, this year, we will need your updated roster, and I can work with you on how to get that. And Mike asked the question, how do I get a link to the course guide I'm showing? So the course guides are all inside of the course. So if I register for this course and get started, the first page that I will come to is going to have a link to the course guide. Click that link and it's going to open up that Google Doc. And this Google Doc is going to be in read-only mode for you. For me, it's fully editable. But for all of you, it'll be in read-only mode. And then you'll get to go to File and make a copy. Cindy's question, how do we add new employees? At this time, we are still having you add the new employees through us, through a spreadsheet. We are working on a way for you to do it manually on your side. If it's just 1 or 2 people, you can add and remove people. We're working on that. But at this time, it's still done through us. Okay, so I'm going to continue on now, and I'll come back for questions in a little bit at the end of the next section. That's the learning library. Those are the courses. And we can move on now to the next step, which is the calendar. This is pretty straightforward, not a lot of functionality in here just yet. We hope to one day see where maybe courses that have been assigned to you show up on the calendar for their due dates. But so far, all this calendar is really going to be used for is to announce our live events. So you can see on the 26th today, there's a live event for this webinar. So that's all the calendar is used for. It's just for our live events. If I click on ELN Home, it'll take me back to the home page. And this can be helpful if you are interested in checking out one of these courses. Because now that you're signed in, it's going to take you right to the course. Okay, so that is everything that a learner can do. They've got My Learning, Learning Library, Calendar, and then back to the home page. When the administrators get their admin role, you're going to have this new feature down here in the lower left, which is switch to admin role. And that is going to take you to the dashboard. This dashboard gives you just a little bit of information, tells you how many active users you've got. We've got right now 1,068 users. 779 of them have been active in ELN, so that's really great. Average procrastination is a really fun one. This is how long does it take from the assignment of a course to the completion. And it looks like it takes about 1 day, which is not bad for procrastination. This gives you an idea of how many hours have been spent learning for your group. 139 hours, that's pretty incredible. And the most active day of the week is Tuesday. Here's our device distribution. About 90% of people are using a laptop or a desktop computer. 3% are on a tablet of some kind, and 7% are using a mobile device. Over here on the left are all of your administrative tools. First one we're going to look at is training. And this is where the course assignment and course creation happens. Let's first look at courses. When you click on courses, a list of all the published available courses are going to be available to you. So this is where if I wanted to assign bloodborne pathogens, I could search for it. Click on it, and here, down here, it's going to show me my administrative information, how many required learners there are. So 80 people already have this assigned to them. 5% of them have complete, and 3% are in progress, and 93% haven't started. That's okay, it's still the beginning of the year, plenty of time left. The way that these courses get assigned, though, is through this learners or groups area. If I click learners, this shows me who all has been assigned. If I wanted to add a learner, let's see, I'll add myself. I'm already in the course, so this won't let me see if I can add someone else. Brett McPherson, he's on our board. If I were to click this, and I'll go ahead and do it just because I've used him as a guinea pig before, it's going to assign bloodborne pathogens to Brett. And hopefully, well, for some reason that's taken a minute. Once I assign it to him, I can pick a due date. And that will be helpful when you go and look at your overdue learners report. If I wanted to assign this bloodborne pathogens to an entire group, let's say all my staff, I could come here, add a group. And I know we've got Jane Addams High School in here. So you would type in your school district, or you would type in your school and click that, and this would then be assigned to everybody within your group. So that's course assignment. Let me check and see if we've got any questions. Josh asked, what if we have dual roles such as a district office and a building principal? Will the manager role adjust for that? What we do, Josh, is we create a generic login at the school level and a generic login at the manager level, or at the district level. And it's a manager for both. And you would just sign in. If you wanted to look at the district level, you'd sign in with that district account. If you wanted to look at the school, you could sign in with that school account. And Lori asked, do we just see our own staff within this space? Yes, exactly. Since I'm administrator of the entire ELN, I'm seeing everybody, but for you all, it's going to just be your staff. Okay. All right, let's go back to the courses. This next feature is something we're really excited about and really hope to see schools and districts taking advantage of. You have access to the same authoring tool that we use to put these courses together. So if I wanted to create a new course, and you will see this when you're a manager, I can just click this new course button, and it's going to take me right to the authoring tool. Up here, I'm going to give it a title. I'm going to call it Ethics in Education, and this will be my video 1. That's my section title. You can see how simple and quick this authoring tool is to use. I can add text here. I can add links here. So if I wanted to hyperlink something, select it, click on the hyperlink. I'm going to link this to the IO Principles site, and there you go. Now the entire web, public web, is open to me as a resource. Also, let's say I wanted to add, now I'm ready to add my YouTube video. I'll go to YouTube, type in educator ethics. Here I found a great TED Talk that gets right to the heart of why ethics are important in education. Ethics are important anywhere in education, of course. So I'll paste that in, and here we go. Now that YouTube video that's publicly available is now a part of my course. And that's how easy it is to create this content. If I wanted there to be comments on this course, I would turn on the comments button, and now anybody who's taking this can reply. We've turned on the comments button at the last slide of each of our courses, so if somebody wanted to share more information, an additional link, we wanted it to be kind of a professional learning community type experience where we're learning from each other as well. Any questions about the authoring tool? That's how you add the content. What I didn't show you in the courses is they also have quizzes with them. So let's go to the Add Question button here. Several different types of quiz questions. These smart quizzes are pretty complex. I'm not going to show you an example of that because they take a while to set up. What we have used are the traditional quiz questions, and these are your basic multiple choice, answer, sorting, and short answer. So let's go to multiple choice. And I can make a true or false question here. So that is how easy multiple choice is. If I wanted to choose multiple answer, I'd have to come up with a different type of question, and then they can select multiple boxes. Sorting is where you would put the steps in a procedure, and the learner would have to put them in order. And then short answer, where you can ask, Grammarly is helping me with this. So that's short answer. If I wanted to add another content page, I click the Add Content button in the top left, and I'm back to a clean slate. Any questions about the authoring tool? Oh, let me go back. Looks like we've got a couple of questions here. Cynthia, looks like I lost that. Hold on one second. Cynthia has staff in a new building this year. Do we make that change with you, or will we be able to, whoops, keeps moving. I'll pop this out so I can make it larger. Cynthia, I believe the answer to your question is yes, you will need to run the new staff through us. So we have, I'm recording this video as well, and I'll edit it so I can edit out these questions. But we have, if you go to the main edleadersnetwork.org page, I have already created a video under support. You click the support button. There's a manager role video. It's about 10 minutes where I go through each of these steps a little more concisely. Okay, this is a good question from Chris and something I needed to clarify. So once you make your course, it is not by default published and it is not in the library. So what you would need to do first, after you're happy with your course, let's say I wanted to delete the second slide, I just want one video and one question. I would publish the course, X out of it, and that's going to take me to this course editing page. This, if I look at more settings, this is going to be grayed out for managers. You will not be able to put this in the library because we want you to feel free to create any kind of course you want. If it does meet the standards that we've set and you create the course guides and the whole learning experience like we do for the ELN content, we would love nothing more than to bring that into the library. But by default, it will not be in the library. You won't be able to put it in the library, but you can let us know you've created a course and we can put it in the library. The way that you will assign your course is through this mechanism here. Once you've created a course, you can go in and assign it to individual learners or groups. And that is going to put it into the My Learning section for your learners. And you can give it a due date so that they can have it appear there and under their next up. So good question. It will not appear in the library. You are free to create any type of learning experience you want, and it can be at the local level only. Good question. Let me take a look and see what else we've got. Oh, Sue, good question about the videos. Right now, the videos that you can embed are restricted to YouTube and Vimeo. I have heard that they're opening it up to TED Talks, but if you were to, I know there's lots of good videos on Teaching Channel. So if you were to go out to Teaching Channel and find something that you wanted all of your staff to watch, let's say this here Tools for Communication video, what you would want to do is grab the link to this. And rather than embedding the course, let's go back to that course I created, my Ethics in Education course. I'm going to edit this. If I wanted to add another section of content, and if I try to embed this video, you'll see what happens. It just spins. Whoop. Okay, so it doesn't appear to be a valid URL. Make sure I got this copied. What I would do is say, please watch this video from Teaching Channel. And then I would hyperlink to the video. And this is a preview button up here, so I can actually toggle the preview and say, okay, what is my course looking like to the users? They want me to watch this video from Teaching Channel. It's going to open up in a new browser tab and take them right to the specific video. So they would watch the video here, close it, and come back to the course. And this is fun. This device preview, it shows what it looks like on a desktop, on a tablet, and on a phone. Okay, and this authoring tool, as I said, is going to be available at the school and the district level to all managers. Good question. Are the courses we create available to other districts? No, not by default. They are only going to be available to your specific district or school. What we would hope, though, is if you wanted to make it available to another district, we could do that, but we'd have to run through IPA. And what we would do is look at it and be able to assign it to that group. So there could be sharing across districts. What we would really hope is that the quality of the content that you create is so high that we pull it into the main library, and we not only share it with other districts in Illinois, but we share it with the whole ELN community. Oh, good question from Lori. Is there a listing of all the courses currently available, like a table of contents? Yes. So there's a couple of places you could find that, Lori. Once you log in, there's the Learning Library, and that's going to give you a list of all the courses. Now, this is not something that obviously that you can print out, but if you go to the ELN homepage and you go to the courses button, here's a list. Again, nothing you can really print out, but this is a list of everything, and it's the date added is the organizing factor here. So yes, we have a list. No, we don't have anything that you can necessarily print out available. Were you looking for something like that? Okay. Another question here from Lori. Can you please show again where the managing tools are located? Will do. So right now, when you log in, all of you are going to go to My Learning. You're going to be logging in with your learner account. If we've given you the manager login, you're going to see down at the bottom left the switch to admin role. And by clicking on that, that's going to take you here to the dashboard. Okay. So that's courses. You can search, assign, and even create courses. If I want to delete that ethics and education course that I just made, I just click on this little X button. And don't worry, your manager role, you'll only be able to delete things you create. You won't have X's for all of these. The next area I want to show you is programs. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, programs are groups of courses, and what we've done is created a program for the Illinois mandated training, because this is a hot topic this time of year. People want to get in and get this mandated training completed. So what the mandated training is, this is showing me how I assign it. I can assign this to individuals. I can assign this mandated training to groups. If I wanted to look at the courses I've got for the mandated training, click Edit. This is what we've got for annual. Because as we know, in Illinois, there's courses that you've got to do every year, and then there's also biannual training. Here are the courses that you have to do every 2 years. And then we go back to programs, recommended training. And these are the courses that are not necessarily required but are recommended by the state board. Okay. Let's see if there's any questions here. Great question from Lisa. So we had the manager role last year. Will it automatically be given to us again, or will we have to request it? We will give it to you again. It will be, as I said in the beginning, for districts, we'll be sending out those manager roles this week. And then hopefully next week, if you are a principal or an AP, you'll be getting those manager access next week. So you don't have it by default. It's something additional we've got to create. Good question from Lori. Who would the email come from for manager level or the learner? It will be coming from, oh, that's a good question. I'll have to look into that. It might be coming from eln@edleadersnetwork.org. So if you look for something from ELN, hopefully you could find it. Let me see, we've got another question here. Okay, so Alexa's saying a course listing and description to print out would be great. I'll look into seeing if we can do that from this course page here, because this has a really nice list, and maybe there's some way we can get that out of there in something that's like a PDF or Excel table. And Cynthia, do we need to send you a list of our building admin, or do we have them from last year's list? Cynthia, we've got them from last year, but if there's any changes, of course, we'll need to get that to you from you. Good questions. Okay, so back to programs, pretty straightforward. You can even have the ability with your admin role, to create a new program. Give it a title. Let's say this is going to be my math program. I'll come down here to courses, see if we've got anything for math. We do have Learning Standards in Action Math. Okay, so that's going to be one of the courses. And then let's just add this Teaching Strategies and Practices. That's good for just general, for all teaching. So now I've added 2 courses to my program, and they can be taken in any order or in order. You get to choose that. You can also kind of change the color at the top. And when you're done with your program, you publish it. Hit done, and you'll come back to this screen here. And this is where, again, now that I've created this math program, it's not available for all users, but I can assign it to my people. By going to groups, adding a new group, and again, if I look up Jane Addams High School, can click that, all my users will get an email notification that they have been registered for a new math program. You can also do live trainings through this system, just like I did with mine. You can set up a new live training. This could be a way to keep track of the live trainings that you do. Let's do a test, live training. And then I would just add a session. What's the date of my training? Let's say it's tomorrow. Noon to 1 is fine. So be in the library. Or you could also choose an online conference provider, such as WebEx, GoToMeeting, Adobe Connect. And then any notes. And now you're set up. If you're going to use a WebEx, you can put in that information here. I'm going to not use that. And save it. So there's my new live training. And then I can go in and, of course, same way as usual, add learners to the session. Tasks, we are not using tasks for anything on ELN. I was playing around with this, but you can create them. You can use EdLeaders Network to assign tasks to your teachers. It's basically just as it sounds. Let's say you want to turn in certificates. And that's it. That's the task. And then you can add your individual learners or groups of learners. And all it does is give them an email that tells them that they have a new task. May not be much use for that. Whoops. If you go to the people icon on the left-hand side, that's going to show you your users. This is where once you do get your manager role, you may want to look in here and make sure that you've got the updated roster to us, and that will show you that these are all of the current users that you have under your user group. You can also look at groups. You're going to have a group by default. Here are some that we've already got access: Jane Addams, Lincoln Elementary. So here are some groups that we've already got created. But you also have the opportunity to create a new group. And you can do that in two ways: manually or smart group. A manual group would be something like my math, let's see, okay, this is going to be my math teacher group. And then I have to go in and find my math teachers. So I would say, okay, Craig Beals. I could add these one at a time to create a new group. Let's go back and look at smart groups. Smart groups is where it's going to look at an attribute within the database, like a job title is, let's see if there's anything, my paraprofessionals. So if I wanted to group all my paraprofessionals together, I'll call this my para group. And then I can add users to this. And so this is everybody who had pulled up when I selected job title paraprofessionals. And again, this is only going to look at your school and district. But since I'm a super admin, I'm getting to see everybody who has this title. So it creates a group automatically, and then anytime you add a new person to your group who's got the paraprofessional title, it will automatically add them to this group. Okay. And so if I want to go back in and delete one of these groups, on my math teachers groups, I'm going to disband this group. I'm going to disband my para group. Let's see, it looks like we've got a few questions coming in. From Sandy, can we create a program that would include the mandated trainings you have created, having only K-4 teachers? Yes, absolutely. You can create your own mandated training program. You don't have to use ours. So if you were to go to programs and create a new program, and you could call it whatever, your school mandates, and you could add just what you want to it. So if you guys just want to do bloodborne pathogens, and you just want to do ADHD, you could do that. Good question. A great question from Megan. Can a teacher earn CPDUs from the completion certificates they acquire? Yes. So everything except the mandated trainings are now available for professional development clock hours. And beyond the certificate, when you get to the end, I'll pull up an example. Let's look at this one. When you get to the very end of a course, you're going to have a course evaluation. When this link is clicked, it's going to take you to the course evaluation. You'll see the title, the presenter, and the webinar link. You'll put in your own information here, and then you will see the traditional ISB evaluation. If this is completed by the learner, they're going to get emailed the ISB evidence of completion form. So you won't even have to take care of that at the school or district level, and the provider will be the Illinois Principals Association. So they'll get the full form and everything. And on that form, it'll tell them how many clock hours this course was worth. And so if any of you have completed our roster sheets, you'll notice that we recommend you add the IEIN numbers for your staff So if any of you have not done this yet, this would be a good warning to you. We really do recommend you add the IEIN numbers, because one of the things we are talking with ISB about is a direct integration with the ELS system, where we can go straight from ELN completing courses. Still, we would give the evidence of completion form, but then the teacher, the administrator, they wouldn't have to log into ELS to log the CPD hours. We would be sending them nightly batches of completion from ELN. And then it would happen automatically. And so anything you did in ELN could show up in ELS. I don't have any timeline for when that might be available. We are talking with them about it, with something that they've had on their radar for a while. We are integrating with the Ed 360 system. So anybody who's got some familiarity with Ed 360, the data dashboard that ISB has developed, we are integrating with them this school year. So you can go straight from the dashboard looking at student data to Ed Leaders Network courses. And we're going to do a single sign-on with them. Patty asked, when will the CPDs become available for mandated trainings? That's an ISB rule. They have found that the mandated trainings do not meet the criteria for professional development in this state. I know it's ironic because they're mandated by the state, but they see them as something that's not necessarily furthering you professionally. I know some districts go ahead and give PD hours for mandated trainings. That's fine. We've just been advised by ISB that we can't do it through this system. Okay, one last thing I wanted to show you before we log out is the reporting area. And this is where you'll spend a little time looking and seeing how your staff are actually getting along and doing when it comes to course completion. So over here, there's the tools icon and then reports. So the first thing by default you're going to see is the sign-in report. And it's going to look by default at last week. You can change this to a month, 3 months. You can change it to all time. That might take a little longer. So that's showing me a huge history. So I just want to look at last month. And all this is telling me is how the trajectory of people signing in for the past month. I can export this as a CSV, and it's really just giving me a count. It's not giving me specifics. So not much really that you can use here in terms of completion, but just gives you an overall picture of signing in. The completed learners report, this is a good one. So once everybody has completed their mandated trainings for the year, you can export this and have this as evidence of completion, because it'll actually say who the person was, what the course was, what their score was, and the completion date. So you can export that as a CSV. This overdue learners report could come in very handy if you are assigning courses and giving them a due date. So I can see right here, here's everybody who's overdue, what their status is, whether they're unfinished or just not started. And again, I can export all of these as CSV. And then the incomplete learners report. This is anything, whether it was assigned or not. This is what have my users, what do they have in their My Learning that they have not started or is not finished. So this will be good to look at when it's coming around September, October, and you want to see who's done with their mandated trainings. You can go in and look at incomplete learners. You can see who's not started and who's unfinished. And export that. All right, it is 11 o'clock, so I want to be aware of our time. Let's see if we've got any final questions. Tutorial for staff to learn how to use this. Yes. If you go to the edleadersnetwork.org homepage, under the support link in the top right, we've got 3 different tutorials. One is just a quick 2-minute overview of the site. The second one is the learner role, and it'll go through all of the things that I showed you in My Learning. And then the final is the manager role, which will go over everything that we've looked at on the manager's side. Sue asks, can completed learners' reports be viewed by building? Does a building name appear in the CSV? Yes. Let's see. Well, that's I said yes, but I'm not exactly sure. Let's see. Oh, okay. What I would need to do is fine-tune my report by the group. So if I click on this, and in here are all the groups that are created, I can select that group. Actually, let's see. Here it is. It's under team. I'm sorry. If it's a group you've created, it'll be under group. If it's by school, so I'm at the district level, I can click on team, and I'll be able to see all of the schools here. So I can filter by, let's filter by Lincoln. And that can become a check. So I'll be done. Now it's going to filter. I'll apply it. It's going to filter my whole list by a specific school. And in this LMS, they're called teams. But for our language, it'll be schools. Cynthia asks, will you be adding the ability for the manager to automatically send an email notification reminder to staff from the report screen? Yes, that actually was a feature, Cindy, up until about 3 weeks ago. From the dashboard, I was able to see my overdue learners, and then I could email them directly from here. The company that we licensed this product from took that away. They said it was being abused. I'm not sure how it could be abused, but they said they're going to bring it back, and it's going to be better than it was to prevent abuse. So that is coming back, where from the dashboard, I would be able to message any overdue learners in bulk. Because I thought that was the best feature of the dashboard, and when they took that away, I was pretty disappointed. But they said it's coming back, and it's just going to be slightly different. So I appreciate that. Okay, we are just after 11 o'clock, so you are free to log off. Thank you for joining this webinar. It is recorded, and I'll be posting it on the support page at Ed Leaders Network. For anyone else to view, I'll be sending the link out to all of you as well if you want to share it with any of your other staff. But you're free to log out, and if you have anything else, please don't hesitate to ask in chat. I'll hang out here for just a few more minutes and make sure there's no final questions. Everybody take care. Have a great rest of the summer, and I hope your school starts successfully here in August. Thank you.